This is an install I did a while back that all I can say is I wish I knew then what I know now. Came out horrible, but I learned a lot from it. You know, you only get better as you go. See, there's a cover that comes with the heat strips that covers over that circuit breaker that I neglected to have on that I should have on there. And when I say it came out horrible, I mean visually, aesthetically, not necessarily mechanically. It's cooling the house down, but everything could have been better. Like looking at the pan. See, nowadays I would never change the air handler without changing the pan. Or the plenum also. I would do both. It just doesn't look good with an old pan, old plenum, new air handler. Look at that old plenum. Ductwork looking crazy. This is not a good look. Plus you can't trust the old pan. So it's kind of a good rule of thumb to get rid of everything that's old and replace it with something new. In this case, because I just changed the air handler and I added a float switch, left the pan in the plenum. The whole time we come to find that the problem was in that drain line. As you can see that bow in it. Further down the drain line, where I got the light shining. I mean, when you look at it, you could actually see a clear bow in the drain line. The customer called me and told me he wanted a new unit, but I should have did my own inspection to understand what was going on. Because the customer's not actually an HVAC technician, that's the problem. So he calls and he tells me, I want a new system because the system I got is leaking water into my house. And had I looked and went and did my own investigation, I would have known that the system is not actually the problem. That drain line is the problem. So he actually kind of got a whole new system because of a drain line. This is the part I'm talking about right here that the plastic covering goes over. It just makes the system pop a lot more. Look, it's sloppy. That's how that looks with all that insulation. And then there's the mastic tape that I use at the top where the wires came in, where now I would use grommets, or I would have left that knockout in and went through with my control wire and thermostat wire into the same wire that I went through with the high voltage. I mean, I would have went through the same knockout. That way it wouldn't be two knockouts. That way I wouldn't have that tape up there. It would just look much more cleaner. And what I was just doing when you saw me by them wire nuts, I was making sure that this float switch was wired in properly. Another thing I would have done different now that I didn't do then is where I have that 90 coming up out the secondary drain. I would have just had the SS2 switch. So I had an SS1 in the main drain and an SS2 in the secondary drain. Some people call it overkill. I call it like one of the best forms of insurance you could have. See, I like looking at these old videos because if I look at where I was then as opposed to where I am now, I would never let this install fly today. So like I say in the description, this is my journey. Ups and downs, the highs and the lows. Yeah, we had to get rid of that pan. See, now my installs come with new pan, new stands, 10 feet of drain line, or new drain line all the way to the plumbing stack, new plenum. It just makes sense. And in addition to the SS1 and the SS2, I go ahead and I throw a JV1 valve in there, blowout valve, and a pan switch in there too. That's what I do now, and that's from learning through all this. Cause I've been here already, so I've learned over time that all those things are quite necessary in the long run. Looking back, I had to pause on this plenum because I can't believe I did that. I mean, the ducts was bad, but I could have changed the plenum and gave it a whole new look. When I say can't believe I did that, I don't mean initially running those ducks because I didn't. I mean leaving them like that. I should have just changed the plenum, reconnected the ducts so we didn't see all that insulation sticking out and poking out, and I would have hung them at least 12 inches high off the rafters. Keep in mind everything that I'm saying now is mandatory for my installs now. So here we are again. Like, I'm out there niche them ducks. The ducks were like that, but at the same time, I could have did what I did, what I was supposed to do to give the job the look that I wanted to have. And another thing I would have did different now, as opposed to then, is I would have strapped all these ducks up too with 4-inch nylon strap. So what I ended up doing was running a brand new level drain line with no bows in it from the main drain on the unit all the way to that plumbing stack. I cut out the whole entire old piece of pipe, leveled it, and made sure we were getting some excellent flow out of this unit and into that plumbing trap. I'm saying all that to say, basically I did what I should have did the first time, which is why my policy now is if we're doing a change out, change it out, change everything out.